Hello, book nerds. Welcome back to the video. Today we are wrapping up the month of April. Alright guys, so in the month of April I read a total of 8 whooping books, which is a little bit on the lower side for me, but I'm not upset about it. Technically my goal this year was to read a little bit less every month, so I'm happy with what I have accomplished this month, and it's been a pretty good reading month with the books that I have read. So we're just gonna dive right into it, and I'm gonna go in the order in which I read these. So the first book that I read in the month of April was A Brewed Awakening by Pepper Basham. Now this is a new release by her that I believe comes out in the month of May. I'll put up the release date for you, but I got this as an ARC through NetGalley, so thank you so much to Pepper and NetGalley for allowing me to read this as an ARC. I had a lot of fun with this. This was super duper cute. It's called A Brewed Awakening, but it's about a tea shop owner, not coffee, and then a pub owner who moves in. It was super cute. Also got the single dad trope, which I am a sucker for, probably because my husband is just the best dad ever, and he is great with little girls, and this was a single dad of a little girl, so it just like gave me all those gushy little feelings, you know. So I would definitely recommend this one if you guys are looking for a really cute, fun one. It did have a little bit of some heavier topics, especially towards the later half of the book, so if you have some particular trigger warnings on stuff, you might want to look up those. I will have my content and trigger warnings down in the description box, so you can look there if you're curious or interested, because it does deal with some devastation of a sort. But I really enjoyed it, and I think she did a really good job at that. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend this one. And my quote for this one, because we got to keep it up with the quotes, I just love doing this, is building emotional connections in a disposable way felt heartbreaking. And the next book that I read was When the Day Comes by Gabrielle Meyer. If you guys have already read this book, I have a spoiler reading vlog of me trying to guess and see if I could figure it out and just giving all of my in details thoughts. So y'all can check that out if you've read it and would love to see how I did. I had a really fun time reading this, and I had a fun time filming that vlog. My mom actually read this first. I got to talk to her about it, which was a really fun experience for me. She's already read the second one, and she told me, she was like, I have to finish this before you start it because I can't have you spoiling anything for me. So so she's read the second one already, so I hope to get to that one soonish so that I can still talk to her. But I really liked this first one. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, especially with some people really not liking this one and others really liking it, I guess. But I understand the hype, and honestly, I talked about this in the vlog a little bit. I feel like with my rating system and the writing, the faith elements, all of the stuff, it gave, and it came to 5-star. But for me, there was just something that didn't quite hit the mark for 5-star. So I did dock it half a star, and so I put this at a 4.5 stars. Nobody hate me. I still really loved it, and I am excited to continue on with the series. And then there's so many to continue on with the series. That is a very exciting thing indeed. And the quote that I picked for that one was, only God is in control of your destiny. He alone is sovereign. If we try to control the people and events around us, we are telling him he doesn't know what's best for us. We're setting ourselves up as our own gods, elevating ourselves above him. It's a dangerous game, Libby. All right, and then the third book that I finished, I read this one, or more so listened to this one on audiobook, and that was The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, Volume 4. I buddy read this with Alma. We have been buddy reading the books one each month, and I've been having such a fun time doing this with her. I still gave this one a 3.5 stars. I really enjoy these guys. 3.5 is not me not enjoying them. I really enjoy them. They are very funny and quippy, and this one had some more emotional and deep themes to it, and it's definitely ended on a more somber note, but I enjoyed it, and I enjoy getting to know the characters more. I love the humor of it. There's just nothing that's crazy standing out or gripping me that's upping it from the 3.5, which is a little bit above average, so don't, I enjoy this series, and I definitely recommend it. A lot of people love it, and I can see why. So the quote that I picked for this one was, is it immoral to marry a man solely to gain a library? And if that man happens to be tremendously good looking, is it more or less a sin? I tell you, Emma cracks me up. Then the next one that I read was Theo of Golden by Alan Levi. This is a very hot, popular one going around right now, even outside of the Christian sect. So this is actually just a New York Times bestseller, and it's not technically considered Christian, I don't think, but I would consider it Christian. The Christian themes in this are very strong to me if you're a Christian. Like, I guess I could see how they wouldn't be if you're not a Christian, because it's all very subtle. It's all very subtle and like underlining, but I think he did it really well. That being said, it's not fully Christian, so there are some things like cuss words and stuff in here. So check the content if any of that stuff might bother you. But I really, really enjoyed this. I gave it a 4.5 stars. It actually made me cry a little bit at the end. Was not expecting that, but again, wasn't quite a 5-star for me, but I really, really enjoyed it. And I think that was just because some of the pace, like, it's a very slow book. You have to take your time with it and kind of sit with it. And with me kind of slumpy and not having the best time reading this month, like just not wanting to pick up books and having a hard time picking up books, this was such a nice little pleasant, I can read a chapter or two, pick up and just sit with it. And it was nice in that season, and it definitely helped me in that way. So I definitely enjoyed that, but there were still points, even with the slowness and how beautiful the story was, that it was just a little too slow for me and a little too much of nothing happening. Just a couple of points in the story. And I think that's really what made it like not quite hit a 5-star, because it just didn't all flow completely for me. But many, many people disagree with me. I would still highly recommend it. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm glad I got it on my shelf. So, very, very beautiful book. The quote that I picked for this one was, "I wonder if, like newborn children, we go through our entire lives looking for a face, longing for a particular gaze that calms and fills us, that loves and welcomes us, that recognizes and runs to greet us. Is that perhaps what this Christmas is all about?" And then next, I read the chonker of a book, A Voice in the Wind by Francine Rivers. This is the first in her Mark of the Lion series. Oshina was reading it for her book club in April, so I read along. And oh my goodness, this was amazing. This is in a reading vlog that I believe came out last week, so I will link that for you guys. But oh my goodness, the faith elements in this was amazing. But I do think that this has just so much travesty in it because of the time. There's a lot of content in here, so I'll put that all in the description box. It might not be for everybody. I can completely understand. There were some parts, especially within the first chapter, that I had a hard time with, and I was kind of surprised by, but it really came together. Like, the story really wove together once it got off. It took a little bit to like bump up like 60 to 80 pages for me, just because we're hearing from 3 different like points of views and 3 different stories, and trying to figure out like how the story is going to start coming together and flowing. But once it did, wow. And I am so eager to pick up the second book this month. I did give this a 5 stars, so I'm very impressed, Francine. I'm definitely going to be making my husband read this series with me, so as soon as he gets back, to be able to force him to. So the quote that I picked for this one was, "Why is it only in darkness that we remember what sustained us, even in the light?" And the next book that I finished was Well Said by Sarah Molitor. This is Choosing Words That Speak Life, Give Grace, and Strengthen Your Family in Faith. Or Faith and Family, excuse me. This was my Christian nonfiction pick for March and April, and I finished it up in April. It was good. I gave it 3 stars, but there was nothing like crazy groundbreaking in this. There was a couple of things that like I took from it and was like, oh yeah, that's good advice, or that's helpful and encouraging, but it wasn't like a groundbreaking book for me. If you struggle more with words, it could be a little bit more helpful, but it wasn't anything amazing even in that aspect, I don't think, but it wasn't unbiblical or anything like that in any way. So just a solid 3-star nonfiction book. Because it's nonfiction, and it wasn't like astounding or anything like C.S. Lewis or Charles Spurgeon. I didn't write down any quotes for this one, so Sorry. Right, and then the next book that I read was Just Friends by Haley Pham. This is another big one that's going around. This just came out in March, and Haley is one of the OG and biggest booktubers, and she is a Christian. So I think all of us on Christian BookTube have been very interested to kind of like check this out and see how it is, because she was publishing in the secular world. And it's kind of hard to publish within the secular world and not have all the secular stuff, but have it clean and stuff. So I'm very glad that she published in that, just for like the fact that there's something clean. I had such a hard time for so long just trying to find clean stuff, because I wanted to be able to find some that wasn't just purely Christian. And I have somewhat, but it's very, very hard at bookstores. There's hardly any. So I'm always glad to hear when somebody can get in bookstores in that kind of genre. So, but this was a little bit more mixed with literary fiction than just romance. She deals very heavily with grief in this book, and I really enjoyed how she dealt with that. I ended up giving this a solid 4 stars. It wasn't anything groundbreaking to me, but I really did enjoy quite a few things about it. I liked the couple dynamic and everything, and I did take and like write down a good few quotes in this. There were some of her writing that I was just like, that is beautiful, especially when it came to some of the grief talks. So I would recommend it, and it is definitely clean, no spice. There is like a little bit of tension, a little bit of like heated kisses like once or twice, but it cuts off really quick. So wasn't anything that bothered me really at all. And the quote that I picked for that one was, "But doesn't love go both ways? What is love if not the desire to be there during someone's lowest moments? What use does it have if we refuse to let the people closest to us share in our suffering when it matters the most?" And then the very last book that I read and finished up in the month of April was Love and Other Distractions by Tracy Bach. This is the third and final installment in her Love and Other series. And for those of you who aren't new here, you know that Love and Other Goals, the first one in this series, is one of my absolute favorite books. I adore it. It's a 5 stars. Loved it. So I was very excited for this one, and I feel like it wrapped up the story. I'm missing them. I'm so sad that it's wrapped up, but it did kind of give us such a sweet ending and such a nice little wrap up to all of their stories in a way, even though I would totally be fine, Tracy, if you wanted to just like whatever, a year in their lives with what's going on. I would read it. I don't think she's going to, but anyway, I really enjoyed this one. This one is Amaya, our girl Amaya, and we actually get a best friend's husband's brother. So like a kind of brother-in-law, but not, I don't know, it's like interesting. But anyway, this is Miguel, Mateo's older brother, and Mateo's my favorite MMC in this. So they're different, but they definitely have a few similarities, and the ways that they were different, I still really, really liked. That I just loved this dynamic. And I do think there was a little bit more faith elements in ways too, just because of kind of what this was dealing with. And like Amaya is kind of a workaholic, and sometimes she puts her like purpose and her worth in her work. So like it talked about that a lot with like the Christian aspect of like, where is your worth really found? It's found in Jesus. And I really liked that was woven all throughout it. So I did actually end up giving this one a 5 stars too. So the whole series isn't a 5-star because the second one is only, I think, a 4.5 for me, but the first and the last one is. So I was really, really excited and happy about that. And I'm so sad that this world is ending. The quote I picked for that one was, "Sometimes goals are worth changing, or the path to achieve them might take a different turn. But having the right people on the journey with you is what makes success satisfying." All right, guys. So that is the 8 books that I read in the month of April. 2 5 stars. I can't believe it. I've now beaten my goal for the whole year of how many 5 stars I wanted, and I haven't had a single month that I haven't had a 5 star. So I'm amazed. I hope this momentum keeps up. And I'm excited for the reading months to come. I would love to hear, did you have a 5 star this month? If so, what was it? And if you didn't have a 5 star, what was your favorite read from this month? I think Voice in the Wind tops Love and Other Distractions just a little bit. is just so good. So that was definitely my favorite this month. But I'd love to hear what y'all's was down in the comments. And I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!